Hey there guys, and welcome to another Factorio mod spotlight. I'm Exterminator, and thank you for joining me. And today we are covering another Spidertron mod. This is Spidertron Engineer, and I do want to just let you know that not every spotlight is going to be a Spidertron spotlight, but I do want to cover ones, that are still fresh and new, and since the Spidertron's new, next week there'll probably maybe be something different. I may even do a bonus spotlight for a different mod later this week. But today we are going to cover the Spidertron Engineer mod. And as you might already be able to tell, what this does is this turns your character, your engineer, into the Spidertron. So from the word go, from the get-go here, you are the Spidertron. You play as the Spidertron, and you're not just riding in it, like you can't get out. This is your character. And there's some info here. I'm going to read you from the portal, and then I'm going to show you some things in regards to that information. So basically, like I said, you spawn from the start of the game as a Spidertron with no way to exit it, like I just said. Starting Spidertron stats are adjusted to be comparable to a normal engineer, so it's not like you're starting with this super overpowered, as a super overpowered, spider. And then the military and armor researchers have been reworked to add weapons, armor, inventory, and equipment grid slots to the Spidertron instead, rather than giving, the player like a power armor and stuff like that. So, for example, when the modular armor research is completed, instead of giving you an actual modular armor, since you're not the engineer, 10 inventory slots, a small equipment grid, and increased health and resistances are applied directly to all players' Spidertrons, and they get all physically larger as well, which I'll show you here in a minute. Optional space science rework as well is so an optional one, which you can look in the options I'll show you, is you can launch Spidertrons into space instead of satellites to obtain space science packs, which is pretty interesting. Very expensive, maybe about the same as a satellite. I think probably a bit more though. Reclaim fish from the fish. Reclaim fish from the rocket either directly or by converting space science into fish. So that, again, these are two optional options with space science, and then optionally spawn with a spider with a Spidertron remote configured to control your own Spidertron engineer, allowing point-to-click movement. And then there is a setting that will allow you to exit the Spidertron. This allows some features from other mods work, such as entering a factory in factories mode too. So there is an option. It's obviously not enabled by default. Some other quick info to give you, and then I'll just get into it, is it supports multiplayer, including different forces, can be added or removed from existing saves at any time, but items in the equipment stored in Spidertron Engineer will be lost. Whole Spidertron Engineer can fit inside trains and carriages. Just press enter next to one, which is pretty funny. And the vanilla Spidertron is untouched and can be unlocked and used remotely as usual. When you die, though, all items in the player's inventory are placed in the player's corpse as usual, and all items from the Spidertron Engineer are spilled onto the ground around the corpse. And then player reach is increased by 3 tiles. So also some limitations is you can't use repair packs on other entities. You can only heal yourself with fish or construction robots. Kind of cool, you can heal yourself with construction bots though. Personal robots can only work with robots and items in the Spidertron's trunk, not the player's inventory. And there we go. Okay, so we're the Spidertron here. And the size of this and your other Spidertrons, as well as just, the abilities this gets, increase with technology. So currently we have nothing unlocked. You can see we have no trunk inside this. We do have our inventory as normal though. And then we don't have any equipment grid or anything like that. The resistances, the health are not very good. However, it's a bit of a pain to unlock one tech at a time, but if I do go into here and research all technologies, but let me first actually place 2 normal Spidertrons. So these guys are actually normal size. So my mistake that they increase, but your Spidertron does. So all player Spidertrons, I just misread that. So any players that are Spidertrons increase in size. If we do this, if we do this, you can see I have now jumped up in size. I'm actually slightly bigger even than the normal Spidertrons, which is quite interesting. So this is with every single tech in the game unlocked, like all armor upgrades, everything like that. And I'm actually slightly bigger. And now I have comparable health, 3,000 health. have all the resistances. I actually have the ability to use other weapons. You can see I have submachine gun, combat shotgun, flamethrowers, and the rockets. I have a trunk. I also have quite a large grid here. I believe it's the same. It's actually slightly bigger, 10 by 6 opposed to 12 by 12. So this is with all the things unlocked. And again, these were just these additions were achieved from armor upgrades and stuff like that, rather than just giving me armor. You can see here it kind of walks you through what it does. So adds combat shotgun, a second rocket launcher, and larger 7x7 equipment grid with power armor. Looking at lower level armors, it would just add lower level things. So if we look at like heavy, is armor not heavy armor not a thing? It would add lower level upgrades, and then on top of that, you can move around again. So this is nice. You do gain the 3 tiles of reach distance. I think in general you are just a little bit faster as well, just due to how the Spidertron walks. And then, by the time you research all this, you have your inventory, you also have the trunk, you have the grid, and then you have all these weapons as well. Again, though, noting that if you put, roboports and stuff in here, it will only use robots and items from within the Spidertron's trunk, not your inventory. So that's a important note to have. But, I mean, you can just, this is your constant selection of weapons since you are this Spidertron. And then, of course, you can control these guys just like normal with a remote. If we look in these settings here, so startup, there's quite a few here. There's replace satellite functionality with Spidertron. So if it's turned on, it is recommended that you also enable one out of the following 2 settings. So add recipe to convert space science packs into fish. So you can turn 10 space science packs into a 5% chance for a fish. Allow rocket launch to sometimes return several fish. And increase size with upgrades. So this is all checked, enabled by default. Constant size scale or scale size, you can change this. In the map settings, allow character to exit Spidertron, limited time, unlimited time. So this is kind of cool. You can just do a limited time and stuff like that. Spawn with Spidertron remote. So this is where you can actually, this is actually pretty funny, where you can control the Spidertron like yourself with the remote. It's really quite funny. So this does, I believe this may require a restart. We can check here. Oh no, it doesn't. So you can see I'm actually controlling myself, which if you just want to be extra lazy and you don't want to, so this is almost kind of like an auto run. If you don't want to just hold down, like the run button, and you just, you need to run across your factory, you can just tell yourself basically to go to your factory and take your hands off the keyboard and you're just going to run on over there. So this is pretty cool, I think. It's kind of goofy, but I do think it's pretty cool. And then per player, there are none. So these are all your settings. That's how it works. I think it's just kind of a really interesting, different take on the game. There's another mod where it actually, I forget what it's called, Brave New World, I think. I believe I spotlighted it a long time ago, where you start without an engineer and you basically play more of an RTS where you do everything via robots. This is in the similar genre, where your engineer is no longer the engineer. It's actually a Spidertron, and now you kind of just like build, little versions of yourself as you go. And you can, of course, you obviously still build a factory just like normal, but and then of course, you can walk over your building. So if you get really frustrated with getting stuck on stuff, this is probably for you, because Spidertron can just walk right over things. You can see here, just boom, walked right over that. And yeah, so it's pretty interesting, I think. Some limitations, but it does work in multiplayer. And like I said, my apologies for that mistake. I just misread it, is what it was. Is all players that have obviously been turned into Spidertron with this mod increase their size to even bigger than the normal Spidertrons. So something to keep in mind there, and then those other limitations I mentioned. But definitely worth checking out if you just want a different kind of perspective on the game, maybe a little bit different way of playing. And I believe that will be it, guys. It looks like it's very frequently updated as well, so they have quite a few plans here for future updates too. Definitely worth checking out. Anyway, leave your thoughts and questions below. As always, a link in the description where you can check this out on the mod portal. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.